Oh my God, we're back. It's only been 2 weeks since we last played. It's only been a little over. Have we hit the 2-year mark? Has anyone checked?
We're getting
Not yet.
close.
It's next month.
It's next month. It's a 2-year mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Holy buckets! How did that happen? How have I managed not to kill you guys yet? Doesn't make any sense.
It got really close a couple times.
Yeah. Well, I got really.
You've killed at least one of us at least once.
Maybe
How many
twice.
times are we gonna talk about that?
You don't remember it, you know.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, that is so freaking funny. So, let's talk about where we last left off because quite a bit of lore was dropped in our previous session. That in mind, let me pull up my notes, switch off the intro music, go back to our normal
Yo ho, yo ho.
Our normal creepy casual vibe music.
I still have my my Voik lore drop from months ago bookmarked in my notebook now.
Yeah, that happened when you guys got lost in the rift, right? And you found the Voik ship. Yeah.
Yep.
Holy moly.
What's his face? Githyanki guy was telling us about him.
Yeah. So in our last session, after the team's arrival to the island known as the Dragon's Breath, within the chain of isles called the Shattered Isles, the team said goodbye to the artist, who was clearly a victim of his own poor choices, but so far have decided to allow Miss Greenleaf to continue to travel with them, and she is rested with you guys as well. But during the downtime, quite a bit of information was finally beginning to coalesce. We now begin to understand that the 9 lighthouses represent the 9 anchors of the 9 different planes of existence. We also now begin to realize that at the very beginning of this story, the person who supposedly set the team on their way to the Shattered Isles to try to find the last of the Wanderman Assembly family members may not have been who they said they were, as we have now recovered an artifact that seemed to possibly reveal the last will and testament of this once thought surviving member of the family. We even learned from Miss Greenleaf that she is unfamiliar with any notion of a blood vault or what it might mean or what it might do. Being someone skilled in artificer background, it would seem that the blood vault reference may have been a ploy as well. We know that from this perspective, being in the tiny hut, that there are some options for the team as they set into their long rest. There is the large Voik town down along the coastline. There's also a nearby lighthouse up on the bluffs that overlook the coastal town. There does seem to be a heavy population and lots of activity down the town when you had initially arrived. But we also have begun to connect all the remaining dots about the captain, her supposed betrothed, and it appears as if the two of them were not in control of their faculties. They were used as either lures or manipulated psychically to enter into the lighthouse, and it's believed that maybe the lighthouse was cursed, therefore passing that curse on to them. But it would seem that the ultimate goal has been to find a way into the lighthouse and therefore utilizing its power and what it's intended for as a solution or resolution to a challenge. With that, we know that we're near the clan of the Elk. As we saw some signs that is where the territory is that we're in.
I think we saw a
Territory
totem.
itself, the territory itself is made up of rock, kind of like a Highlands Scottish territory. It's spring, so the weather's not too bad this far south. Still a little bit of a tropical underlying tone, but barely, mostly from the humidity of the veiled fog that you guys have now made it through, more accidentally than anything else at this point. Seems like almost 2 years of trying, just one accidental escape from a mimic plane shift trap has finally gotten you to where you wanted to get to. It is... Oh, and we also got to meet Xanath's mother. And boy, was she charming. It's now early morning. There's about an hour until the tiny hut will collapse upon its own accord. You have an hour. It's morning. What would you guys like to do?
Earthen is most definitely still asleep.
If you guys want, I can do Gaze of Two Minds with lunch to get like a larger surveil of the island to see if anything is happening.
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd be kind of curious to know what's going on in town if he's able to see anything.
Okay, I guess like early on it will help us maybe decide which of the horrifying tasks today we should start with.
Mhm.
I want to see if I can. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I was going to see if I could perfect my pastry recipe of increased intelligence.
Ooh, yeah, you keep working on that if you want. You got about an hour till the tiny hut comes down. Give me an insight check as you begin to kind of make a quick morning motivational series of baked goods or snacks like trail
That is
mixes.
That's a 17.
17, yeah, it's maybe a couple more efforts and you'll be able to perfect it.
Nice.
In fact, you make 10 small linen bags full of trail mix that will offer up inspiration of 1d6 as long as the party members consume it.
Ooh.
So a d6 inspiration for consuming the morning trail mix.
Gonna start handing those out.
He just wants us to
Thank
eat his
you.
food.
Oh, how dare he? Yay.
He did say he was going to poison me at some point, so
I see. So this is a long con. I respect that.
Oh, God.
Brother, I'm not going to do it in front of people I like.
So while Spot is making the trail mix, Puck, are you sending out punch and lunch or?
Just lunch. I have now, because of my evil warlock situation, Gaze of Two Minds ability, which means that
Maybe.
you touch. Oh, never mind. You touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses to the end of your next turn. Do I still? Because I think beforehand I used Beast Sense, but can I use Gaze of Two Minds on him, or is that stretching the word humanoid beyond its abilities?
I mean, technically he's Fey,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
I mean, Lunch is technically Fey as a pseudo dragon, right? So I would say you could like do it through his mind because he's not a creature or monster. I'd say a Fey is a type of humanoid.
oh, hell
He just
yeah.
doesn't take like he doesn't take a traditional humanoid form. So yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Concerning that I did not realize he was humanoid, but I'm very psyched. So yeah, I cast Gaze of Two Minds, and Puck, probably needs just somebody to look after her while she's out, but she can see through his senses and just gonna scan the island real quick.
And what's the range on that? Just as far, like, how far can you?
So long as it's in the same plane of existence.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Lunch has flown out of the tiny hut and will begin to free range near the lighthouse, the town down below, and the immediate area. Have Lunch give me perception with advantage, because I'll say he's flying at height.
Oh, yay. I did not expect to need his thing so quickly. Just a sec. I should always have it ready. It's true.
You say anything?
That's a hard part of being a ranger, like managing a whole separate character sheet.
Yeah,
like there's only one.
I have it in my important folders because I didn't know where to put it, so it's there with all of my less exciting things.
It's very important.
That's hysterical. I love it.
Taxes. There it is. That's the good stuff.
Consider tax returns.
Literally dreading. Never mind that. Okay. Armor class.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
And don't forget, if you ever need it in a pinch, I believe I pinned it in the Discord as well.
I have it in front of me. Perception 11, or called sense. Passive perception is 11.
Right.
What was the other?
So if you roll for perception, you're probably just adding the wisdom score, which is a +1. So roll it with advantage and add a 1.
Okay.
Oh my god, who's playing with their dice?
Oof. Rough. That was an 11 and a 12, so that's going to be a
11 and
13.
12. Okay. And you're looking through his mind, like you're perceiving his mind as to what he's seeing, correct?
The descriptor is you touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. So it's anything he sees or hears or feels.
So it's a pretty quick action. He's going to go out, do a quick scan, and come back right in.
Yeah, just to see from above if there's like any commotion, anything that he senses up there.
The exterior surrounding the tiny hut location is shrouded in fog. Currently, the only thing that Lunch noticed was pathways leading down the bluff or up the bluff, but currently everything is just shrouded in a thick, dense kind of morning fog.
Oh, can he go above the fog?
I mean, a turn is only technically 6 seconds. He'd have to come back in, and you'd have to touch him again and send him back out again.
Wait, with an action to maintain on until the end of your next turn, with an action to maintain on following turns. So if it counts as an action, it can go to following turns.
Which is another 6 seconds.
Wait,
So
okay.
Is it like concentration and it just stays up like as long as you're concentrating?
Because it's like an action that's not a spell, all it says is you touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn, with an action to maintain on following turns. So maintaining is an additional action, but it doesn't say that I need to touch him again because it says maintain.
I guess it's a duration factor. So we'll say that while he's out and until you stop in utilizing the ability, he's going to get above the fog line. Give me another perception check with, give me a regular one this time, because there's fog just about everywhere at this point.
17.
The only thing that he notices is that the fog seems to not be as bad about 1,000 feet off the coastal shore. So when he ranges out to that point, you can see a small fleet of those Viking-like Voik ships. They seem to be fishing vessels. They are busily kind of pulling in fishing nets, fishing lines. They seem to be just kind of working at their normal morning activity. Have them make a stealth check for me, please.
Oh, yikes. I was afraid of that. Let me see. Language. I don't know if it says what his stealth is.
It probably doesn't, so it's just his dex. D20 with his dex.
Okay. This is not good rolling today. Okay, it's gonna be 7.
7. As he ranges out of the fog and over the small fishing fleet, he sees dozens of these black dots coming up towards him. Have him roll a dex save, please, to avoid a rain of arrows that are now coming up towards him.
Dex save.
Luckily, he's like a tank, right? He has a ton of hit points.
He does have a ton of hit points, yeah.
Oh, 22.
Nice. He sees the cloud of arrows coming up out of the ships up towards him. He banks around, avoiding the arrows as they fall away and behind him, and then he disappears back down into the fog.
Okay, I think that's the most we can get out of this. So he'll be coming back to us.
Okay. While that's going on, Zenith and Earthen, anything you two want to do? Spot is making and perfecting his recipe. Puck is interacting with Lunch and bringing him back. What are you two doing?
I know we lost a couple of weeks, and I'd like to try and scry on Mason and see if we can glean what he's doing now.
Okay. So Zenith is preparing to scry on Mason. Earthen, anything you want to do?
I'm gonna watch Xanth because sometimes when she does this scry thing, she ends up bleeding from orifices.
Happens.
Just in case, I'll keep an eye.
As you focus on the last location you knew him to be at, on the Pebble's Throw, and with the limited remembrance and the limited number of clues and items that you have in connection with Mason, you begin to focus. You disappear into yourself. You feel your scrying eye begin to come up and out. As you come up and out, the moment that your scrying eye begins to just like hyper speed out over the ocean water and in the direction, it's now kind of oscillating over that familiar kind of half kilometer squared, broken, barren piece of island with the kind of remains of a ruined town and a chunk of castle, almost like it's a piece of that Monrovian community that was just plopped here in the middle of the water. Mm-hmm. You bring your eye down. As your eye comes down, it's currently hovering over this stone sarcophagus, and you can see a sleeping Mason inside the sarcophagus. His transformation continues. He is looking more and more Dampier the longer that time has gone by. No sign of his minions, no sign of Kraxen, no sign that he's being protected in any shape or form. He is simply asleep inside of a great stone sarcophagus.
And
The remains that used to be in the throne are no longer there.
And as I was kind of like zooming into the town and the castle, does it look as I remembered? Like, it doesn't look more full than it was last time?
No, it looks exactly the way you remember it.
Okay. All right. Got it. I'll pull out. Mason's asleep. He looks like he's still sort of going through that vampire transformation. I couldn't see anyone else.
Do you know his general location?
Yeah, he's still on that island. He's still on Pebble's Throw, and everything looks the same as it did, except that, you know, the bones that were on the throne are gone.
Well, he chucked those across the room the last time you scryed on him, right?
So someone cleaned him up.
Maybe.
Oof.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
kind of
it-
expected that we might see some progress on the, like, that the castle might have changed, the grounds might have changed, but everything looks exactly the same.
And is there any way that it might be a decoy of some sort, or is that something that would not happen with the scrying?
I don't think that would happen with scrying.
No, with scry, it is very specific. A target based on the way you evoke the spell. If it wasn't him, it wouldn't have allowed you to scry on him.
Oh, well, that's good to know. He hasn't been up to something too horrifying. He was just asleep.
Just sleeping. It's actually a little bit comforting to see that he does sleep.
I mean, your last part of that last memory was him ordering the 3 duplicates of Kraxen to go and find something.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the minions. I didn't see anything new. So I don't know what happened with that.
Is
You
it?
guys should
You're
try
still
and
out
scry
looking.
Oh yeah.
I'll try and scry on Kraxen. I know I don't have like a picture of him or a body part or anything, so I think probably it would be a
I thought it was what's his face, the lizard guy.
Kraxen.
Yeah, not yeah. He was ordering around the lizard guy too. Basilisk.
Oh, Vesperus.
Sorry, Vasilisk, yes.
Oh, I have his staff. Then that would be great.
I have
I'll
his
try.
book.
I'll try and scry on Basilisk.
Yeah, actually, I didn't mean Kraxen. I meant Vasilisk. Kraxen's
Oh, okay.
from a different campaign. Sorry.
Okay.
I was like, why am I think? Because in my other campaign, Kraxen is a dragonborn, so lizard folk, dragonborn, they get confusing.
Okay.
As you focus in on Vasilisk, before you set into another scry, the one thing you begin to realize is that he is still probably in simulacrum form, which means there are 3 possible outcomes.
Mhm.
The scry doesn't know how to differentiate.
We did destroy one of the simulacrums, right?
Correct.
So there were
So
2.
he was originally 4,
Yep.
Oh.
and now he's 3. The original version of Basilisk, and then of course his 2 simulacrum that became more apparent when you scryed on Mason the previous time.
Mm-hmm.
So your scry has no way of determining differentiation. So as you invoke scry, it's going to show you at least one of. Well, I'll make 3 wisdom saves. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
that
I'll
sounds
make
good.
3 wisdom saves. And whoever. I mean.
And I mean, would you say that I know the target well, or have I just met the target?
I would say you know the target well. You fought him.
All right. So
We killed him.
Yeah, you killed him. So
One of them.
I have one
yeah.
of his possessions, so he has to beat he has to get a wisdom save of 28.
You have 2 of his possessions.
Do I get multiple?
I mean, I'm just saying, like I've got.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I've
we
got
have the book
his
and the
spell
staff.
tome too.
Yeah.
Okay, so only one succeeded.
Whew.
So 2 failed. Of those 2 failed, go ahead and roll a d4. for me.
Okay.
1 and 2 will mean one thing to me. A 3 or 4 will mean another thing to me.
Okay. That's a 2.
Okay. As you, by now, lunch is back. Spot is finishing up the trail mix. Zeth, you got maybe about 15 minutes left on your tiny hut. So by the time this scry is over, the tiny hut will collapse in on itself. The scry takes you up, out, across, starts to go away from Dragon's Breath Island, but not very far.
Mhm.
Goes to another chain of islands that maybe 20, 30 miles from where you are. It hovers over these chains of islands, and as you come down, you cross into another large Voik-like community.
Mm-hmm.
But this community looks different. The totems, the signs that you see, they are bear. So you get the feeling this might be the tribe of the bear or the clan of the bear. Your scry circles about until it's over this very large kind of complex made of stone and wood. And there's a huge town surrounding this complex. On a platform within like this open air kind of parade ground, you could see maybe 30, 40 Goliath looking like individuals, but they have hair. You know, they have these huge beards. They have variations of braided hair, short hair, shaved heads. They do seem to be wearing tattoos similar to bear-like visages or iconography. One particular Voik, Bear Clan Voik, she is huge. She's like 8 feet tall. She carries these 2 huge axes on her back. Currently, you can see Vasarisk in front of this woman, this Voik female, and he is currently kneeled in front of her. And as your scry comes in, you begin to pick up on the conversation. And you hear the bellicose voice of the Voik. Why should a chieftain such as myself be bothered with the likes of you? You seem to be recommending that I wage war on the other clans. Why should I do this? Vasarisk, his familiar gravelly lizard-like voice. It's because you need power. My master can give you this power. All we need is to lay waste to the clan of the Elk, take over the lighthouse, and my master will deliver power to you unlike any you could imagine. The Dragon Clan and the Deer Clan are in alignment with us. Even now, I have discussions going on with the others. If you join, many thousands of your warriors should have no problem taking this seat of power. The chiefess looks down at Vasarisk. I'm not entirely sure if I should believe you. You are in the shape of our primordial enemy. How am I to not know that you are truly a dragon in disguise? Vasarisk looks at her. I am not from your lands, chiefess. I come from a faraway place. I am what you would call a lizard folk. While I bear resemblances, I assure you, I treat dragons with as equal disdain as you and your people do. Chiefess seems to hesitate for a moment. Then she goes back, kind of looks down at Vasarisk again. Very well. Me and my council will consider this option. If this offering is true, and what you've given me is but a slight indication as to what I can expect, then perhaps we can make war together. Excellent. The scry begins to retract and back into your mind as your eyes open and you're back. You're actually in the damp fog, barely able to see 5 feet around you, 10 feet around you. Even Tilly Greenbottle's like, oh, it's very hot. Oh, hello, everyone. I was actually already out here collecting samples. There are amazing, flora and fauna out here. And then you guys watch as Xanath comes out of her scry, and you guys are all gathered in the fog at this point.
I just saw Vazarisk. He is trying to convince the head of the Bear Clan to launch an attack on the Elk Clan. He claims that they already have 2 other clans assisting them. He's telling them to kill the Elk Clan people and take over the lighthouse.
Holy crap.
I'm gonna cast sending to that Elk Chiefess, or the Bear Chiefess, if I can. I'm gonna say, you don't know me, but I'm a friend. Vazarisk cannot be trusted. His master is undead. He seeks only death.
Give me a persuasion check on that really quick.
Okay, not my forte. Oh, but I do have my 1d6 inspiration, right?
You do.
Great.
You ate the morning breakfast.
Mm-hmm. And I'll I think sending concentration. No, so I actually can give myself guidance as well.
You can give yourself guidance, yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, damn it. All right. That's an 11.
11.
I rolled a 3 on the dice.
Yeah, there's no response.
Oh, no.
You guys notice the cold, bright sun is beginning to burn through the fog. The fog is beginning to slowly lift as it's turning more towards mid-morning at this point.
So it seems like... Oh, sorry.
As much as I want to go to the lighthouse right now, I think we need to go to the elk tribe.
I think that's right.
I think I can lead this one this time.
I want to trust you. I really do. Please do not let us down. I believe in you. You have really good persuasion.
Yeah.
They are nice people.
He's like cracking his knuckles like, oh yeah, you don't even know what you've seen. I'm so rested right now. I feel great. I feel ready to take on the world.
But that is not in a way that indicates that we are antagonizing anybody. You are shortening my lifespan.
You're already pretty short, so I don't know.
The low-hanging fruit there.
No more so than you've done yourself.
Puck is just gonna be grumpy and kind of like muttering to herself.
Look, you set him up, I knock him down, right?
All right. Come on. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we saw the path down there before, right? Well, when we first got there.
Correct.
We mentioned there was just kind of a path down the thing.
You're like watching the fog begin to lift finally because there's enough breeze and cool of the day to kind of cause it to disperse. Once again, you can see the path leading up towards the lighthouse, and then the path leading along the bluff's edge, the 200 feet down to the community down below.
Earthen's like plucking a tune and whistling like while we're walking down there.
I thought I was pretty persuasive. I don't know why she didn't respond. I used my scariest cleric voice. It didn't work. I'm rejected.
Because you were wearing the helmet. I hear like the helmets interfere with that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, I guess it could have been the helmet.
I'm like the rooster from Robin Hood right now, just like strumming and whistling as we're walking down this path.
Puck is getting ready to amp him up to be a hype man, but hopefully not make things worse.
Nah. Yeah, save it. I got this.
Just picking up my claws, just sitting there like, yep, waiting for this to go bad. All right, it's fine.
Okay, the one charismatic person in our group, do the thing.
As we approach, before we get like right up on the city, I'm gonna cast glibness.
Okay. So for now, you're currently taking the bluff path down to the shoreline. Looks like it'll take about 15 minutes to get down to the shore. And then it's a very kind of like open beach with pebble strewn kind of landscape, rock pine trees kind of making up this weird like little kind of like bay, like this very Nordic style bay. As you guys are coming down the bluff though, there's an outcropping of rock and you see a very tall humanoid looking figure. Big red beard, long hair pulled back in a braid. He's just wearing leather pants and his boots. He's got a huge elk horn, like elk antler tattoo on his back with some other insignia and runes as well. And he's currently skinning a very large elk that's hanging, in a very kind of like dressed position, like he's harvesting meat, working on harvesting the skin and doing, kind of like a kind of traditional hunter's work. From your vantage point, as you get closer to where he is, you're only about 30 feet away and he stops working. His hands are covered in like the viscera and blood of his busy work, and he kind of strangers here? No. You go back. Go back. No strangers.
Hi there, friend.
He goes back to working.
Whoa.
Great. Let's go. Just walk by him. It's okay. We're okay. Come on.
As you guys begin to walk by him, an arrow sticks in the ground like 2 inches in front of Earthen's left foot. You turn to look, and he's standing there, still just holding his bow, a single arrow in his hand. No strangers. Not loud. Go back. Go back.
What makes you think we're strangers?
You do not carry tattoo of Voik. You do not look Voik. You are not from here. Go back.
Well, that doesn't make us strangers.
Go back to your tower of magic and curse. Stay from us. Stay from us.
You think we think we're from the tower? We're not from the tower, friend.
Give me a persuasion check on that one.
Certainly. I rolled an 11, but with glibness, that means I rolled a 15. And that's a plus 17. So that's a 32.
32?
Yeah.
Plus 17?
He's level 17 now. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh my goodness.
This is the one thing I do really well, okay?
Well, you almost die really well too. So
yes. No, I do that really, really well.
And you argue really well with Spot too. So I mean,
true.
That's multiple things. You really sell yourself short.
Would you say he does that last one well? He loses them all. I mean, when he wins, I'll just steal from him.
The fact that the most charismatic people in our group continuously argue just means that it's like a very charming banter.
So as Xanath and Spot and Puck kind of stay behind a few feet, freeing up Earthen to kind of walk forward and begin to try to gain the confidence of this strange person. He kind of almost like maybe listens to Earthen's words and then looks up back towards the tower and then steps. Like when he moves, he doesn't make a sound. Like when he moves, you would expect to hear his feet on gravel, but you don't. He kind of walks up to stand maybe a few inches in front of you, and his nostrils flare. You are not familiar. What are you? You're not from Tower? You're not Voik?
Nope.
What are you?
I am a human. We're kind of like you guys, just smaller, weaker, softer.
So nothing like me at all.
We look similar to you if we were tiny, right? Tiny,
calling me
maybe
tiny?
children. No. We are tiny. We are tiny. I am tiny.
Your
My friend there is even smaller than us.
Your friend there with the tiger.
Mhm.
Ask her. Tiger for sale? Tiger, good food.
Okay, enough charming.
Shush. The tiger. I don't have to ask. I know the tiger's not for sale. I'm sorry. That's her pet.
Pet?
Not my
She
pet,
keeps
my
animal-
companion.
She keep wild, deadly animal as pet?
She tamed the wild, deadly animal. They fight as one. She's pretty impressive.
Oh.
He walks past you to stand over by Puck. He bends down, not bad for small child, and turns back to come back over by you.
Like I said, impressive.
Your child.
Oh no, not mine. No.
Oh. You travel with children, and by the gods of Elk, Lord keep us, what is your friend cursed? Why does he look like cat?
Okay,
Oh,
I wasn't sure if you're talking about the blue one or the orange one. Okay, so the orange one, he's a tabaxi. That's another species. Okay,
Okay.
like I'm a human. That's a gnome. He's a tabaxi. He is very ferocious. He is not to be trifled with. He
Another
really,
pet then that you tame.
Hey,
I'm going to very, very carefully insinuate that no, it's not my pet. But we are friends.
is all this being done in common, or is it in a different language?
It's in a very rough, guttural common. Like you get the feeling he's speaking this way because you're not Voik, if that makes sense.
I got you. So it's kind of I'm talking loud to foreigners.
No, it's guttural. He's speaking common, but in a very choppy kind of way. He's not speaking loudly. He's just recognizing you're clearly not Voik. You don't speak his language, so he's well, actually, that's a good insight. Give me an insight check on that, since you've noticed that he is speaking kind of a guttural, uncommon.
22 and
Yeah, I mean, your tabaxi curiosity tells you that someone taught him this language.
All right. I'm going to kind of sidle up to Earthen. And Earthen, how tall are you? I'm just curious. I can never.
I'm smaller than 6 feet.
Okay, because I'm 6'4". I'm just going to kind of shove in, like, put my entire paw over his face. I'm at. Has he given any indication? Well, he hasn't need to. My monk thing. I just talk directly to him in any language he understands. It's like, "Hi, I'm a Tabaxi. We're a fearsome warrior culture, and I just
Witch. How do you know our language, witch?"
I'm a monk,
and he's got his arrow knocked into his bow. You are.
I'm gonna like slide the paw off my mouth. Let me handle this.
There's like a little paper cut on your forehead.
There's no reason. There's no. He's not a witch. He gets ahead of himself sometimes. Okay.
You
give me another persuasion check with disadvantage because Spot is pretty much fucking this up for you.
Okay. I mean, at worst, I'm gonna roll a 32. So it's got to be something higher than a 32. I rolled a nat 1, but it's a 32. So.
Right.
Because glibness.
Because glibness is currently up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a feminine voice coming from behind Xanath and Puck. As you hear someone go, Hamant, who are these people and why are you not killing them if they're not Voik? And you guys turn around to see...
We're friends.
this 7-foot tall Voik, kind of, she almost looks like maybe she's a shaman. You can tell that she's got a lot of like nature iconography on her. Bones, teeth, little shriveled up skulls. Her staff that she's holding onto has like a strange glow crystal on it. And you hear the other Voik, who she called Hammond. Hammond kind of looks back at her. He bows and backs away. Sorry, mistress, my apologies. Would you like me to seek warriors and have them dealt with? She just kind of laughs and shakes her head. No, Hammond, it's quite all right.
We're no threat, especially me. We're no threat.
That's true. He's not a threat. He's very squishy.
The priest is like arcs an eyebrow. Not all of my people are familiar with the creatures of the world. I apologize. He is, how shall we say, youthful. Hammond, finish your responsibilities. You are fine. And Hammond turns back with a kind of strange, like look at Spot, like, I wonder how many boots I can make out of him, and just kind of like turns away and goes back to working on the elk remains.
I'm gonna like thank Hammond and like give him inspiration.
Okay.
Like I'll just
what is your inspiration now? D10 or D12?
It's 12.
Yeah, D12.
Yeah. So the idea being like whatever he's doing, he's gonna end up making something phenomenal today.
Yeah.
Whether it's just skinning it or something, he's gonna do something.
Yeah,
really
he's
good.
gonna make a perfect pattern to use on Spot's hide. That's perfect. Okay.
Right.
So the four of you are now staring at this priestess who's just kind of, she has one hand on her staff. She's maybe in her 40s. There's thin wisps of gray hair in her blonde and brown hair. She just has this very kind of stoic and focused look on all of you.
Hello. Do I call you priestess?
That's what we'll do for now until you earn my trust.
Fair.
And she's speaking
Absolutely.
perfect common.
Fair, absolutely. May I ask, where did you learn your common? Your friend, Hammond, you called him? He seemed to have difficulty with the language, but you don't seem to have any difficulty at all.
No, I do not. I have intelligence and an understanding of what you are. I just don't know who you are.
Oh, I'm Earthen. Earthen Yarnwood.
Earthen Yarnwood. What is your profession?
The guitar, this doesn't give it away. I play music. I'm a bard.
Oh, fascinating. Quite worthless then. Who is the young woman next to you? The one in the armor, blonde hair.
That's Helm. Sorry, excuse me. That's Xanth. Sorry, she thinks she's...
Is that a Freudian slip, or are you...
Yeah,
I'm still convinced that Xanth is becoming a god.
But that was definitely, that was the most earthen slip ever, though. That's Helm. That's all he thinks of Xanth right now is just, it's Helm. That's Helm's kid, right? She thinks she's the daughter of a god.
You watch as the priestess looks at Xanth, tilts her head, noticing her features. You are sea elf or...
Yeah, yes, part sea elf. My father.
Fascinating. I'm familiar with your kind. And in Elven, she kind of gives you that Elven welcome sign. She looks down, raises an eyebrow. She looks down at Puck. And you are?
Well traveled.
Puck.
And what do you do for a profession other than you seem to tame animals?
I am a ranger.
Scout, you know the wilds then?
I know them.
Interesting. And you're tall, tabaxi friend. We do not get many of his kind here, if ever.
How much of
this time?
hi, my name is. You can call me Spot. I'm a monk, as you can see from my my accoutrement, and I'm mainly here to keep the human over there from getting stabbed to death or shot. Or he's.
Had I not interfered with Hamon's conversation, you would have failed miserably at your job. Why are you here?
That's a great question. So information first. I'll gonna share what Xanth shared with us.
By the way, Green Bottle is not currently with you. She has stayed up on the cliff to continue collecting flora and fauna samples as what she wanted to do once she got here. So it's just the four of you currently.
Yep. So my friend here, the sea elf, Xanth, we were chasing some very bad people, and they came here, and we chased them here. Not to this island per se, but past the veil. We come from beyond the veil. And
you come from the shadows of the other world. But yet you did not come the normal way. And she points out towards the sea.
Oh, no. Certainly did not. We certainly did not. We escaped from one trap and escaped onto the island here. It was kind of coincidental and not intentional, although it definitely got us closer to where we're trying to go. So my friend here, though, had some interesting news from the guy we're chasing, one of the guys we're chasing, I should say. Stopped off, scried on the guy, found out he was at the bear tribe, and this wicked guy at the bear tribe is trying to unite the Voik to come here and attack your tribe.
Persuasion.
Yep. 32.
You describe Chiefess Thunderhide. You know magics then to be able to spy on her.
She does. Yes.
You do
But
not
we weren't-
know magic.
Clearly, I know some, but not that kind of stuff. But clearly, though, the intention, we weren't spying on the chieftain. We were spying on the other guy. We just happened to catch that conversation, which I think is very good thing that we did.
We have gone to war with Clan Bear many times before. Why would this be any different?
How often do you fight more than one clan at the same time?
Quite regularly, to be honest with you.
All on a single attack?
I do not know the understanding, the meaning of these words you use. You use a lot of words to describe things because I don't think you understand them.
Fair.
Battle and war mean different things, but battle and war is the purpose of Voik. Voik make war. Voik go to battle. Whether with each other or others, it is what our gods demand. It's what we do. To die in battle, to die in war, is the greatest homage a Voik can ever give to the natural gods of our people. You're not a coward, are you?
No, I just very much enjoy my life.
A coward. Anyway.
Sure.
I will ask this question.
Hammond was
No
asking-
more
okay,
words
yeah,
of
sure.
brevity or description. Why have you come here? Plain and simple. I rolled a natural 20 on her insight
Sure.
for 29. So she's
Nice.
incredibly suspicious of you guys.
We're chasing a very bad man.
You have
And-
stated that. What is your definition of a very bad man?
This man is turning himself into a living undead being with great power and trying to harness That, along with other beacons that were present all over Exandria, in order to somehow make himself even stronger. Dare I say, try to make himself a god.
He can have it. That place is cursed.
It is cursed.
That is its only purpose. We sacrifice those that do not belong here to that place. We send them inside. If they come out, they usually do not know themselves anymore, and they are free to go. If they do not come out, well, then the gods have spoken, and the gods have kept their souls.
Interesting.
Under the light of the Watcher, our people have flourished. Many times people have come to try to explain our customs and our beliefs to us, but we have been here a long time. But the lighthouse has been here a long time as well, and we will not be dissuaded. And she turns around and starts walking down the path.
I'll
May
follow
come.
behind her.
Okay. She calls back, you may come or you may stay. Your safety, I cannot guarantee. As she begins to walk down the trail of the bluff.
Oh no, that's fine. I understand. As we walk, I'm going to continue trying to talk to her.
Okay.
So you said people have come and tried to explain your beliefs to you. That's not something I intend to try at all. So please be comforted in that.
Begs the question if you understand the word try.
You are a very sly woman. I give you credit for this. Okay. So, this village here. How long? Do you have any archives? How do you keep your writing? Also, when we get somewhere where we can possibly settle, perhaps I can show you some rubbings we took while we were on a separate leg of this adventure.
The Gable Keepers keep the legends of our people in song. We memorize generations of our comings and our goings. To write things down is to express weakness of the mind. If you cannot memorize it, it's not worth remembering. The Gable Keepers are the heart of our community. Our chief, he goes by the name of Stormpelt. He will decide your fate if you choose to stay. It is not in my reckoning to decide it for him. His word is final, and his word is absolute.
Of course. I must say, you seem a very wise woman. Are the rest of how many people in your village are as wise as you?
She stops and looks at you. You use many colorful words. What is this wise that you speak of? It's not a word I'm familiar with.
You know a lot of things.
Why would you not know a lot of things? That does not make sense to me.
Clearly, Hammond didn't seem to know as many things as you know.
His knowledge is not unbounded like mine. You should just use these simpler words. You are too pretty for me. And she continues walking.
Oh, trust me, I'm not trying to impress you in that way. But you said your knowledge unbounded. How do you unbind your knowledge? I should definitely like to learn this.
The gods speak to us, and we see through their hearts.
Yeah.
That sounds an awful lot like my blue friend behind me.
You mentioned the Watcher. Is that one of your gods?
It is a god that we believe who sits above us. His great blue eye in the night sky tells us our future, our past, and the Gable Keepers use it as a representation of our truth.
And do the gods speak to you?
Sometimes they do, either through the understanding of a natural creature, a natural place. Sometimes when I sit near a fjord that empties into the sea, I can hear their voices.
And the gods crave war or battle?
Depends on which god that you believe in. The Watcher guides us through the night. The spirit of the sun is the plant in growth of our gardens and our crops. The god of war, she is a harbinger. She is the shadow of mortality, and she wields the great axe of death. She we call Clawbreaker.
The Watcher reminds me of my own god, and I'll show her, the little sigil, which is the eye. We call him Helmer, the Watchful One. He's a guardian in the night.
Do you believe in your god?
I do.
Then may your god serve you well. I do not know of this helm, but you look strong. You look capable. Must embolden you with a sense of knowledge and strength.
It does.
You guys get to a point in the bluff where you're coming off the bluff and onto the pebbled beach. And now you could see numerous Voik. And the thing that's a little disconcerting is like their average size is like 7 feet. For those of you that are familiar with Goliaths, they're pretty much physically like Goliaths, but they have appearances similar to Viking. But they don't wear any armor whatsoever. They're only carrying these very kind of oversized weapons, or they're using oversized tools. They're all wearing a variety of tattoos that commingle with elk representation, as well as representation of the sea. And the priestess kind of leads you past all the gawkers and onlookers. There's maybe a good 50 people on the beach, and begins to bring you towards the beach that rises up towards her town. And it's a rudimentary town, but it's sprawling. It's built partially up into the bluff, out onto the water, and up into the different kind of broken bare granite rock that's kind of protruding out into the bay. Now that the fog is lifted, there's at least anywhere from there's like 100 vessels out in the water of various sizes. Most of them appear to be small for fishing and other activities. There's at least a dozen that are anchored to multiple piers coming off the rock shore that appear to be able to carry a lot of people, and reminds you almost exactly of that ship that you saw in the Rift during your journeys. It's a feeling of familiarity about this place, but it's on the edge of your mind. As she begins to kind of like lead you up to what feels like the entrance into the town, the one dominating facade is in the very center of the town. You can see what looks to be like an arena, a fighting arena, but no sounds coming from it. The streets are busy with people hauling their wares to and from an area that looks like it might be an open air market. All of the buildings are made of hewn logs, rocks, thatched and shaled roofing, and there's a continuous smell of salt air, fish, and like briny kind of water at the same time.
Priestess, those large ships there anchored at the edge, what do you use those for?
Those take our people to war. If we're inclined to heed the call of the gods, we heed their call, and we take our war, we take our battles to clan bear, clan, whatever is the choosing of the gods. It depends.
Interesting. That looks very similar to the ship we saw in a very unusual place.
We still have the elk horn from it.
Yeah, and the etching too. Like we took the
Oh.
etching. I didn't want to get those out just yet, just in case we don't, get well received. They might take that as a threat, and I was, the horn at least, right? How often do those? Have you ever had those go missing? Has one ever just not missing in battle, but missing completely? No signs, no evidence.
Sometimes, if a great chief dies, the chief is set alight, and the Voik pay homage to the gods and send him or her on their way. If it is lost in battle, it is a great honor to those lost in battle. Sometimes the great mouth of the gods open and swallow up those not worthy of remaining with the Voik. It but depends on your circumstance and where you are.
That last one might be kind of what we were thinking about. We came across one of your boats, but it was out there, and I'm gonna just kind of point out to the sky, like to this, way beyond everything out there. It's very hard to describe where we were. I couldn't tell you exactly where we were, but we definitely were not on this planet.
Once again, you use words that make no meaning.
What do you call this place where we are?
We call this Earth, our land, our island, our home.
Okay, and all the other islands, all those together, what do you call the whole thing?
We call them islands, of course.
Okay, well, it's going to be... I don't want to blow your mind with this because I don't think I could, really. But, your islands in this great big ocean, there's a lot of other islands past the veil, right? And all those islands past the veil.
But they are not important.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But they're all on this one big ball, like this big circular shape of thing floating in the middle of nothing, right? And we wound up out in the middle of that nothing somewhere with one of your boats.
You are a very funny man. You say funny things.
I realize things sound really funny, but if I could just show you, it would be much easier. I'm gonna use minor illusion to cast my knowledge of what Exandria the looks like.
As you cast that, immediately around you, about a dozen Voik pull their weapons.
Oh.
The priestess.
The
priestess steps away from you. You are a witch. You could not bring magic without blood. You are a witch.
I'm not a witch, but did you say magic without blood?
Magic only comes from blood. And you watch as she murmurs something, draws a dagger across her hand. She squeezes her hand, and she draws a blood sigil in the middle of the air. And you watch as a gust of wind just kind of blows across you. And then her eyes open, the light of her eyes settle. The Voik around her seem confused. I'm not sure why she's not ordering them to seize you. There's a bit of awkwardness right now.
That was very impressive. If I wasn't such a soft person, I would absolutely like to try to learn some of that from you. But I don't think I would survive the training. But I see that many of your friends are looking very unwary of us right now. I promise not to cast again. I apologize. I won't do that again.
Give me a persuasion check.
Yep.
How long does Glib last for?
An hour.
Okay, there's still a half hour left.
32.
32.
anything lower than a 15 becomes a 15. So
Yeah.
plus 17 is 32.
She holds up her hand to ward off the other Voik, and she comes up to you. Do not behave like a witch again. It will not go well for you. Do you understand me?
You couldn't be clearer. I completely understand. I apologize. It's going to make this a lot more difficult trying to explain this to you. But anyway, wait, I pull the etching out. I'm not going to pull the horn out yet, but I pull the etching out and say, these are the runes we saw scryed on the ship we found that, if I'm understanding what you would say, would be swallowed by the gods.
She looks at the etching, her eyebrows kind of furrow as she stares at it, and she grabs it out of your hand. Where did you get this?
I was trying to explain to you where I got this. I told you we were in the night sky. You see where everything goes black and all the specks of light in the sky.
She holds up her hand to silence you, and she looks at one of the Voik that's just kind of off to the side. Thundermane, go now. Get Talindra for me. She should see this. And he watches the Voik sprints. And when he runs, man, he's fast. He barely makes any kind of displacement. Not only does he appear to be like huge, but he's light on his feet and very well toned and like athletic. Like you begin to look around, even like the older Voik. There's almost everyone give me an insight check as you're kind of for the first time taking a moment to kind of look at these crowds of people to get a more sense of them.
Sorry.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
16.
16 for Xanath. Spot, what'd you get?
Give me a second. 28.
28. Okay. Earthen.
Yeah. I got a 22.
Okay. Puck.
I rolled a 9.
So mad. I got a 7.
7. So Puck, you're just kind of lost in the nuance of the place, right? You're just kind of taking it all in. Xanath, you definitely pick up a vibe, but you're uncertain as to what it might mean. Between Earthen and Spot, like every now and then there's clarity between Earthen and Spot's relationship to where, they set aside the banter. Earthen, you and Spot pick up on the fact that there might be an unnatural aging effect here.
Like an anti-aging or like preventive aging or accelerated aging?
It's hard to tell specifically, but they like their health. There's no one here that looks unhealthy. They vary in ages between like 20s and 30s. Well, the priestess kind of came across in her 40s. But the way they hold themselves, the way that they seem to physically look and act, there's a strange nuance to their physicality and the age that they seem to represent.
She said Hammond was young and he looked like he was a full adult.
Yeah.
I realize maybe we have some more to tell about this ship later.
Hold your words. I'm asking for the head of the Gable Keepers to come speak with us.
Oh. Okay.
You see for the first time someone that's finally older. As she comes back with the one that she called Thunderhide, this Talindra comes with, and Thunderhide is holding the arm of Talindra. Talindra looks to be completely blind. She looks to be well into her late, 90s, early hundreds. She seems to walk with a physicality that beguiles her age, and she gets brought up alongside the priestess, and Talindra kind of takes a sharp breath. And what does Ambermane require of me? Ambermane looks at her. I need to read you something. I need you to validate and verify what it means. And she begins to read the etching that you guys gave her. Ah, that is a ritual ceremony offered up to the second chief of the Elk clan. I believe he passed away some 600 years ago. 600, well, seasons ago. Why does Ember Main ask me such a trivial story? Talindra, we have strangers in our midst. While they seem capable, you know how it's been in the past. Ah, tell them nothing more. Take them to Chief Stormpelt. Have them offer the oath of truth. Have them eat of the heart of the elk, and let the god determine whether or not they should be trusted. Let the battle prove their courage. Emmermain bows towards Talindra. As always, the Cable Keepers show the most intelligent response. With that, everyone just kind of separates away. The priestess kind of looks at the four of you. I will present you to Stormpelt. We will let the culture of our people decide if you are to be trusted. You watch as she steps up towards you, Earthen. You have a gift of riddles, words, and she looks at your hands. Soft fingers. Your challenge will be
they're calloused on the ends. It's not easy playing this thing.
She steps past you to stand in front of Xanath. You wear much faith on you. Your challenge will be of your faith. She goes over to Spot and grabs him by the arm and the shoulder, kind of hits him on the thigh. You are a true warrior. Your challenge will be in blood and death. And then she shifts over to Puck. You, child. You are a creature of the wilds, tamer of beasts. Your challenge will be to tame a great beast. And she stands up to then look at the four of you. Come, let us see what Stormpelt has to say. And she begins leading you towards the interior of the town. She refers to the town of Fjordheim. The town itself looks like it's been built over many generations. There is 3 distinct buildings that you see made of stone and timber. Each having, one seems to have an effigy or a statue of a very, what would represent a sun. Another one represents a moon. And another one seems to represent a great Voik warrioress. She is completely, in her stone facade, she's completely nude. And she kind of bears this huge battle axe with 2 hands as she stands overlooking the center of the town. You're beginning to pick up on the different types of Voik that kind of exist here. Some bear more common resemblance of town folk, but even their average size and height and kind of age is very distinctly nuanced to you. The children, if you want to call them children, are 5 feet tall, but yet they carry themselves with the bearing of an 8-year-old. But they don't really look like 8-year-olds. They look like teenagers. But yet the simple way that they converse with their Voik parents, just everything here seems larger than life, bigger than it needs to be.
I hate this.
You're also... Go ahead, Puck.
Sorry, no. Just Puck is not happy.
I reached down and put Puck on my shoulders.
Thank you. A little bit of dignity.
Yeah, Punch is like loping alongside Spot. There are a lot of people that kind of look at both Spot and the tiger with a sense of confusion and kind of nodding affirmation at the same time, almost as if they're kind of witnessing a kind of like a natural wonder that maybe they've seen before, or maybe they're acknowledging their natural existence is more kind of their thing. But it's hard to tell, right? The priestess continues to lead you further and further into the town until you come around the massive stone and timber structure that looks to be like an arena in structure, and begins to lead you up the one prominent chunk of granite rock that looks to go up about 100 feet above the entirety of Fjordheim. And she's now taking her time going back and forth and taking you up these long stairs that allow you to kind of like see the entire view from like 100 feet when she brings you up to the platform. There are these two large Voik guards that flank either side of a very simple wooden entrance into a very tall and dominant longhouse, this huge wooden structure. There's smoke rings curling out of its roof. You can see bear and elk and saber-tooth and tiger and lion and like all of these different creatures of the wild kind of hanging in off dress poles like they're being cured for their meat. There's maybe 36 Voik busy at like preparing what's beginning to look like a feast almost. And you could see great barrels and baskets full of very exotic fruits and nuts and like cheeses and dried seafood of all like manner. And the just that very earthy and like wafty sense of smell permeating off all of this. The two Voik acknowledge the priestess, and they both turn at the same time to throw open the door. And when she does...
Priestess, briefly, before I forget, we do have one more friend, but she's up foraging up on the cliff there. I don't think she's a danger to anyone. She looks very similar to our friend here, but I just don't want you to be surprised if another small one like this happens to show up here later.
Of course. If you say she's to be trusted, then she will be met with trials as well. She should not linger long. If she lingers beyond the trials, she'll be assumed to be a heretic, a witch. She will not be allowed in with the Voik.
Well, like lean over to Xanth and be like, "Can you send her a message to come down here now?"
Yeah, I'll shoot Tilly a quick message telling her we're with the Voik and we're being asked to go through this trial, and she should come as quickly as she can or hide herself well.
Yeah. She responds, okay. You guys have already been busy. I will come down the bluff and, oh my, they're quite long. And then, that last word picks off. You guys kind of patiently wait there for about 5 or 10 minutes. This very large Voik, she's carrying Greenbottle by the scruff of her tunic. And like Greenbottle just looks like how when you pick up a cat that's soaking wet, it just sits there limp, like unmoving. That's kind of what Greenbottle looks like. And it takes a while for the Voik to come up the stairs. And priestess, we found this child wandering the beach. And the priestess kind of looks over at you guys. Is this your friend?
Yep,
yes.
That's her.
That's her.
And the Voik drops her to the ground and it just kind of turns, heads back down. Greenbottle like brushes herself off, adjusts all of her gear and her bags, her journals. Like she looks like a walking professor now because she's got all of her kit. And for the first time, you see poking its head out of one of her leather bags. A little weasel nose kind of comes out like a ferret, kind of sniffs around and then kind of goes back into her bag. Well, you guys know how to make friends in a hurry. You know we're all going to die. These people are huge. They probably eat people like us.
Maybe not all of us. I'm like looking at Spot, like
I'm a predator. My meat is tough and stringy. They wouldn't want to eat me.
they definitely want to make clothes out of you.
I mean,
The priestess like slams her staff. Quiet. Follow me. Keep your mouth shut while I present you.
Mm-hmm.
For any reason, the chieftain determines that you are not to be trusted. He will merely ask for your heads. You understand?
hey, Sir, just before I forget about this, as we were looking at the market, did I overhear any of the people that caught sight of me and punched? Were they saying anything that I would have taken note of?
They were doing blessing signs and they were invoking their different gods when they saw you. You get the feeling they're just not used to seeing people like you and the tiger, like just kind of casually walking through a dominated population of Voik. In fact, as far as you've been able to tell, it's a large town, almost a small city. It's maybe a couple thousand people. And the only people you've seen are Voik. Between the four of you and Green Bottle, you haven't really seen anybody else here at this point. Just all Voik.
Did I get the sense that the signs they're making were like signs of respect, or were they just kind of like
protection? Like they're asking for the god's protection or a god's blessing. Almost like maybe you might not be good luck. Like you're a strange phenomenon that they're kind of a little fearful of.
Okay. And so when you said that, the natural thing, I thought maybe it was a good sign, but apparently not.
So with
more
that,
of this, right?
Yeah, so with that, she leads you into the longhouse. Let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break. And when we come back, we will do the second half. See what happens.
Yikes.
Yay!
See what happens.
We'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. Definitely be fine.
Oops. Let me- All right. So you guys aren't waiting for me?
I don't think so.
All right.
Whoa.
Hello. Apropos of nothing in the game, y'all can find these plum candies at any local Asian market. Do highly recommend.
All right. Waiting on Puck and Zenith.
Oh, that's close.
Bum, 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 bum. There's Puck. Can't wait to see how she gets through her trial. It's going to be so cool.
She'd have to tame a T-Rex.
It used to be my dream, but now it's my nightmare.
Everyone remember, you have, except for Earthen, 2 or 3 helpings of your trail mix of inspiration.
True, thank you. I will definitely need it.
Okay.
Also, way to go. You charmed.
Poison. I said I don't need the poison.
I was gonna say, way to go. You charmed us to the place we were supposed to be in. We did it. We're in the place. Now we just need to not die.
It's pretty great when you can't roll less than a 15.
I'd like that with my sleight of hand. My sleight of hand is a plus 17.
Oh
By
no,
the
no,
way, your glib is now worn off.
I figured it's over now. But no, glibness says whatever you roll, it can't be less than 15 on a charisma check. So that's why I was like, that's why I just kept saying 32. It's 32. It's 32. Because anything I rolled that wasn't a 15 was a 32.
Yeah.
That's glib. How do you get that glib?
As the doors open and the sounds and smell of the interior of this place begins to overwhelm you, you recognize long tables, dozens of Voik of variety of size and age, busy drinking, eating a mid-morning's meal, working on crafts, all taking a moment to stop what they're doing. She guides you past all of this, past the musicians that are like playing in the background. They're playing. Puck, you'll recognize it immediately because being a ranger and familiarity with wild beasts, they are playing with. Well, actually, you've all dealt with it before, so you've harvested from it before. Their instruments are fashioned from bone and scale of a dragon. It looks to be the remains of a white dragon has been harvested at some point, and they fashioned its, like, whatever they harvested into a representation of instruments. You're also passing others that look kind of like they're dressed similar to the way the priestess is dressed. So maybe more, there may be more than one priestess at work at any given time. But this, passing through this crowd, she takes you up to a great, like, timber platform made of furs and leathers and great bone chairs, kind of making up the places that people would sit. Standing on the platform, maybe 8.5 feet tall, he stands there with this huge yellow and brown beard, blue eyes that look like they could just laser cut through anything, scarred, tattooed, wearing very exquisite and purposely prepared armor. His weapons hanging on wall sconces behind this huge throne that he stands in front of. The throne is made from a great white shark. A great white shark that must have been, its jaw, like a megalodon jaw. The shark must have been well over 100 feet in size. And the jaw has been preserved, and you could see things hanging from it, and a great stone chieftain-like seat sitting inside of the megalodon's jaw. And the huge chief stands there to look down towards where the priestess is. She doesn't bow. She just nods her head. Stormpelt, I present strangers. Although this one here seems soft, his words are of use, I think. The others show individual strength. The people of the void, she slides her eyes over at Earthen as he mumbles under his breath. She just stares at you like, shut up.
He got caught off guard by that backhanded compliment, okay? He wasn't expected to be complimented.
Right?
He was like, I think that was a compliment.
The huge chief, Priestess Ambermane. As always, you watch out for your people with a heart as big as the great elk himself. Now, present them to me, so I may know their name and their worth. Priestess grabs Earthen by the arm, pulls him forward. This is Earthen Yarnwood. I believe, she looks over at the performers to the side, I believe him to be a musician, my chief. We could always use another silk-swallowed banter of music. She pulls you back. Say anything? She pulls you back, puts you back in the rest of the group. She gently holds on to Xanath's arm and walks Xanath up. Who is this? And the priestess, I present you a child of the sea. Her name is Xanath. She is betrothed to her faith of a god known as Helm. I believe based on her icons and markings. She is a child of faith and war, my chief. Good. Always bring the axe. Always bring the hammer! As he yells, and all the Voik in the background kind of cheer and raise their weapons and clang them together. The priestess did very well, better than your friend, and puts you back in line with the others. And the priestess saddles up along the spot, and before she presents him, the priestess whispers into your ear spot. Don't mean to be offensive, but I've never presented at the backseat to the chief before. Am I okay to hold your arm and do the presentation? Or is that a problem for your people?
No, that's fine. Are there any gestures of respect I should do to him?
don't look as if you're going to kill him, and maybe not speak. Good. This should be interesting, I hope. The whole crowd kind of goes hushed with silence, and she begins to present Spot, bring Spot up. You can almost like Spot has to set Puck down in order to do this, because Puck's got to get presented on her own accord. And when the priestess, like, there's a veneer of tension, like, you know, like this feeling like this is never done. It feels like maybe this is being done for the first time. While Puck, a more traditional looking humanoid creature, would probably be less likely to call the ire of this group of people. Spot has some unique qualities and some unique mannerisms that, you know, it's like you're watching a Spot doesn't really hold back. He's told to not say anything and not look like he's attacking, so he's just like waving at the other Voik and like just giving a little like little princess waves. Because, you know, he's a fidget. He's got to do something. And the priestess just goes, "My chief, an unusual presentation, but I believe this one to be a warrior. Strong of shoulder, strong of arm. A bit on the long with the voice, but I believe I present to you. I do not speak his language well. He goes by the name Spot with his friends. He is a monk. I think someone who would bear an opportunity of challenge of combat." The chieftain kind of stands there, leaning down. "I have never been presented with this kind before, priestess. Do you not mock me with this?" "I do not believe I do, chief." For the first time, the chief comes down the two flights, just the two steps. And like when he walks, like if you're near him, you can kind of feel the ground move a little bit. You know, he's a big dude. Comes down and he leans in to like within inches of Spot's face. "What do I do with you? Do I throw you a ball of yarn, or do you fight?"
I mean, the yarn sounds fun, but no, I'm quite adept at fighting, and I just extend all 10 of my claws.
"Yes, I like this one." And he like picks him up and starts shaking him. You're going to take 15 points of force damage, Spot. You feel two of your ribs pop out of dislocation, and it sets you down and like turns around to go back up to his platform. The priestess grabs you quickly. "Well, that went extremely well. You did well." And kind of guides you back to the others. You guys can see the like Spot making those kind of owl faces without saying owl. I mean, Spot's a pretty tough guy, or pretty, you know, it's a tough monk. So they know when they're in trouble. And he spoke only a few words and did princess waves. I mean, he pulled it off pretty good, as much as Spot could do it. And then the priestess comes and bends down towards Puck. "I know you're not a child, but I'm going to present you as a scout. Hopefully you will not mind that. Taming the beast challenge is by far one of the most difficult challenges. My people have a saying. May the light of the sun fall on you as opposed to the shadow of the moon. It's our way of saying, I hope you don't die. You seem interesting." And she just kind of takes your arm and kind of guides you up to where the chief is. Now for you, Puck, as the chief stands there up on the platform, he might as well be 15 feet tall. I mean, you're just like looking up at this massive guy. And he looks, "You present a child to me? What is this? Some kind of joke, priestess?" No joke. This here is Puck. Over there is her tiger. That is someone that she declares friend and tamed beast. I am told she is an excellent and masterful scout, and she is willing to take on the trials of the taming. If Fascinating. Well met, young puck. May the shadow of the moon not fall on you. And he kind of like goes and just like sits in his huge, massive throne in the megalodon, architecture, and he kind of silences everybody who's talking and yammering in the background. The priestess, Embermay, has offered the four of you to the trials of challenge. Our people believe the shadow of the moon represents death. The sun, the birth, creation of life. Our goddess, she stands above us with her great axe, goading us to war. But to earn the trust of the Voik, you must agree to these challenges. And I do not banter words for the purposes of my breath. These challenges can get you killed. If you accept this, you garner the faith and the word of the Voik. You gain our trust, and we would be glad to stand beside you in war. Shed blood with magic, and to know your way among the wilds. Hunt, seek your enemies. We would count you as friend. The one called Earthen, I give you the trials of the striking riddles. Do you accept these trials?
Yes, my lord.
Good. Then you shall be the first. My Voik, form a line. Grab your cudgels. And you watch as a line of like 20 on one side, 20 on the other side. Women and men Voik lining up in perfect line. The priestess grabs the rest of you to kind of pull you aside. Gatekeeper, are you here? Yes, my lord. I am right here, of course, my chief. And the blind gatekeeper kind of coming out of the shadows. The chieftain stand in front of the line of Voik, Earth, and Yonwood.
Yes. I walk like facing them all at the front of the line.
Stand between them, please. Not in front of them. So,
Sorry.
like, you're now standing and you're looking down this long,
Yeah.
corridor of human,
Right.
like, tunnel with all these Voik, like, just running their hands on cudgels and, like, gripping it and, like, little bits of drool and beer coming out of their mouths and just giving you these big grins. And
This reminds me of my fraternity at Rex Centrum.
all right, D6 inspiration for that one.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper comes over. Ah, the trial of riddles. Hopefully your body is as strong as your mind. Hopefully your mind is sharper than any blade. Riddle me this, if you would, Earth and Yonwood. They run the mountain. They run the forest. All you can do is hear the howls of the wind as they call for the mother of death. What is it that I describe for you, Earth and Yonwood? What beast does wander?
It sounds as though you described the wolf.
All the Voik line up and start howling at your answer. The gatekeeper, you are good. You are very good. And for that, they must close their eyes as you run Run, boy! Run quickly!
Oh no!
So they will
Oh
have
no!
you will have advantage on your deck save.
Yep.
They will have disadvantage on their strikes. So as you begin to run, they are closing their eyes and wildly swinging into the empty space between them. So start off with your deck save.
Yep.
So-
That's a 25.
Nice.
Yeah.
And with that, the music starts up again as the frantic cudgeling begins to just like at one point, a cudgel just misses you, but it overstrikes to one of the other Voik. And you just watch as a broken nose and like a split jaw. And the Voik, she kind of she starts laughing and kind of spits blood onto the ground. Just in time for you to feel at least one cudgel like slam into your back, another one into your leg as you're halfway through the lineup of cudgels. Give me a final deck save.
Yep.
With advantage.
With advantage? Okay. Ha! Not great. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna burn a lucky point on that one. I just rolled double threes. Okay.
Go for it.
Ooh.
Double threes. So 13 is much better. That's 21.
21.
Woo.
You feel slight glancing strikes off your shoulder, your knee. You get to the end, and as you get to the end, you take in a deep breath. And you start to kind of like walk back towards the beginning of the line again. And you take 26 points total of bludgeoning damage. Halved to 13 because you did make your deck save. And as you come back to the head of the line, the entire line of Voik, all the men and women, just like kind of cough a salute, like all at the same time, kind of recognizing that they're all surprised you made it through the first of the 5 rounds.
They're not the only
Gable
one.
keeper,
Five
the Gable
rounds.
keeper kind of looks at, kind of with her blind, sewn shut eyes. Ah, you still live, Earthen Yanwood. But your second riddle, in between life and death, in between the spaces of the moon and the sun, sparkles the beginning of the expanse of one's mind. What do you practice when you look up at the sky at night? What do you see?
I believe that would be unbinding one's mind.
Not exactly it, but fucking close. That was good. Once again, the Voik all cough a salute. They close their eyes. Run again, young Yanwood. Run faster this time. Give me a deck save with advantage as they continue their strikes.
It's what the priestess said. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, no, you did good.
Okay, that's a 23 on the first one.
Nice. You get halfway. You take half of 18 points of bludgeoning damage. Give me another deck save as you're trying to get out of the tunnel of cudgels.
I'm gonna roll that one again. Yeah, that's 21.
21, yeah, you did it again. You get out, take half of 26 points of bludgeoning damage down to
20, so
half
13
of
total.
26, so 13
Okay.
total.
Okay.
You come out the other side. You guys can see bruises, contusions, little split lesions on his exposed area of his skin. And yet they caught that salute. And they kind of slam their cudgels in like uniform on the ground. Even the chief sitting in his throne looking down kind of nods. The Gable keeper. Now, young Yanwood, we test the true sharpness of your mind. Undress yourself down to your breeches, if you would, please. So he's taking off his equipment, stacks everything neatly off to the side on a table. And it's just his brown pants at this point, like his little undergarment pants that he wears under his purple outfit.
Purple.
Yep, under your purple outfit. And he's standing there. And you can see the bruises, the swelling. You kind of see it's a rough go. And now, forget pain. Forget the weakness of flesh. Only the mind will see you through this next endeavor. On the horizon, she blinks. At night, she sleeps. And when she decides to take your soul away from us, she feeds. Who am I describing to you, young Yanwood?
She sleeps. Takes. The shadow of the moon.
Now they're stomping their boots, winding up their cudgels. They close their eyes. And you can see the strain that they're beginning to show. Like they're really going to put their effort into it this time. You sprint through again. Give me a dex save with advantage for the first run. The halfway run.
That's 21.
21. Take half of 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
Give me a final dex save to come out the other side.
Oh, that's a 27. No, 26.
Nice.
Sorry. Overcounted.
26. In that case, you take no damage. Coming out the other side, dodging, weaving, and you come around to stand alongside the Gablekeeper. The chief coughs in salute and leans forward in anticipation of the inevitable failure of someone that's not Voik. The clinching of the cudgels, the fervor, and a fresh round of tankards are brought over to all the people in the line, and they quickly quaff them, spit and blood, because every time they miss you, they hit someone across them. It feels like that's the game. They get to hit something. Once again, a kind of society of Spartans, right? They're very much into strength, violence, but they also seem to hold the natural order of things as well as intelligence. Xanath, you're proficient in religion, right?
Yep.
Give me a religious check, if you would, please.
All right. 17.
Yeah. While they appear to be violent, they also appear to have a great deal of faith. They also seem to really respect the knowledge of their natural world. There is something about this group, this Clan Elk, that is intriguing to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many similarities to such a dedicated society that you've seen before, but yet they're clearly isolated. They've never been beyond the veil. They don't accept newcomers so readily. You begin to believe that your test may be a test of religious faith, while Earthen's test seems to be, can his body be as strong as his mind? You get the feeling that your test is going to be, is your faith as strong as your body or as strong as your will?
Mm-hmm.
You get the feeling that Spot is a true contest of combat. He will probably be challenged by someone in one-to-one combat. They did not offer anything to Greenbottle yet, which strikes you a little strange, but it just kind of went by your notice. You get the feeling that Puck's challenge will be to bring out a beast of terrible ability, and she'll be expected to tame it. These are the pillars of their society. Passing these pretty much guarantees you a relationship with these Voik that you feel is on equal status at this point.
No pressure. No pressure.
As Earthen stands for the fourth question, the Gablekeeper, are you thirsty? Do you require a drink before your fourth question?
If you're offering a drink, I would gladly take one.
Your passive is pretty high, right?
Yep.
Passive perception?
23.
Yeah, you notice the priestess is like shaking her head no.
No thanks. I think I'll be okay.
The Voik all cough a salute. The chieftain leans even further forward, expecting this fourth trial to finally allow his people to beat you to a pulp.
A bloody pulp.
Yep.
Won't take much.
The Gablekeeper looks at, or she can't look at you. She's blind, but she can stare in your direction. She stares at
Make
where
it
your
nice and
voice comes
creepy.
from. Yeah, it's pretty creepy. Now, the threshold of death consumes all. Her warmth, her light, gives birth. She wages battle, allowing both birth and death to happen at the same time. What do I speak of?
Why, that must be your goddess of war. We see in the statue on the plaza.
This is going to be good. Speak of the Voik, young fool. No one closes their eyes. Their eyes are open as you begin to sprint through the cudgel tunnel of all these Voik. Give me a regular dex save for starters for the halfway run.
Yep. Nope. Gonna lucky that one. Oh, glad I did that. 21.
21. Take
Yeah.
half of 18 points of damage as you're able to dodge, get underneath. One cudgel kind of glances off your head. You see stars briefly. To the halfway point. Give me a second dex save.
Oh, that's 26.
Okay, yeah, you make it out the other side. Slams in your back and shoulder as you take half of 12 points of bludgeoning damage. And you come back for the fifth and final question. The chief now is standing, his arms crossed, looking at his people with a bit of concern, but also a bit of kind of awe at this thin, barely 6 foot tall, silken trumpet player.
Yep.
But you guys can see broken skin, contusions. There's
I'm
even
looking like shit.
yeah, there's even a rib bone that's kind of like slightly out and kind of like pushing up against the skin. And the chief stands there now with anticipation with the final question. I have asked you about the wolf. I have asked you about the moon and the sun. The horizon bears the weight of what it is to be Voik. When you are Voik, you walk eternally, forever, in the minds of the Gable Keepers. It is us, the Gable Keepers, that bind our histories and guide us on our future. What, Chief, did I mention to you? When did he die?
The second chief from the etching of our boat 600 seasons ago.
The chief, sharp of mind, body and spirit. Make your final run. Survive. Join the Voice.
Ooh.
The table keeper steps away, and now they're all two-handing the cudgels. They're like, they turn away
This is gonna suck.
slightly, but with their eyes closed.
Can I ready an action to try and covertly do a healing word if it looks like he's about to go down? Like I won't do it unless he's about to go down.
Give me a deception check for starters.
Okay. I had my second inspiration from Spot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Two?
Yeah.
Okay.
How close are we to him? Because I have an idea.
You're not very close to him at all. You're a good 50 feet away.
All right.
That's a 6.
A 6? You feel the priestess lay her hand on your hand. Do not worry. If the gods allow it, you'll be fine. Don't interfere. It'll go badly for him if you do.
I'll drop my hand.
Okay. It's like she saw your hand going up to your focus, and she like gently puts her hand on your hand and pulls it away from the focus and whispers that into your ear.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me a dex save with advantage.
As I go through this time, can I sing a gibberish tune that is like the kind of the music that was playing when we came in.
Yeah, the music that's playing right now, that kind of that pattern, that crescendo of music. Yeah.
Because the intention of that is to hide a healing word in there.
That's fair. Give me a deception check for starters.
Okay. I'm gonna go on and burn that lucky point.
See, if people wonder when that many lucky points are gonna matter.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. Yikes, still not great, but that's you said deception check?
Yep.
That's a 25 because I have deception.
Yeah, so. That's good.
Yeah. Whew.
Okay.
But the first one was the 2, so that'd be 17.
You're using
that was like,
I
don't know about that one.
As you're using the chaos of the event, what level do you cast Healing Word?
I'm gonna go 3rd level.
Okay. Go ahead and give you that little extra pool of hit points. I actually don't know what your hit points are right now. I'm not looking at your
They're not pretty. They're not pretty. So hang on, let me get my D4s out because can I retcon that actually to a mass cure wounds and like heal those guys too? Like to give the effect that I'm like ramping them up for this thing.
The only problem is they may see that as an offense.
I mean, like the idea being trying to make them feel like I'm rallying them.
If they notice it's magic, it could go badly. Because you're already seeing their behavior towards magic not being the way that they do it. So you're a smart enough bard to know that it's a risky venture to do this with a bunch of superstitious, drunk, violent people.
Yeah. I'll just go with the D4s.
Okay.
The 8s would have looked nicer, but the 4s will be okay.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, is anybody like throwing stuff on the field at the moment? Like, are any of the rambunctious people there like throwing anything on the field? Like,
oh no, it's just like they make noise with either their boots or the cudgels they're carrying. The other warriors and people in attendance are kind of giving a proper amount of space for this to take place, but nobody would dishonor like they're very honorific types. They are not like a rabble. They're not like a crowd of onlookers. So unfortunately, no, there's no way for you to throw a healing potion at Earthen.
Yeah.
Although there is enough distraction. I'm assuming that's what you were thinking of doing.
What I was going to try to do is if he's like in an area where he was not within reach, but if I could drop or throw something with a really high likelihood of it not being apparent, I was going to drop him my Pendant of Healing. He has 12 HP per round. It doesn't need to be attuned.
You know what? You're a stealthy fucking kitty. Give me a stealth check for starters.
Okay. Ooh, and I could do that with advantage.
Yes, you do.
Nice. That is a nat 20. That's a 31.
Nice. Now give me a sleight of hand.
Okay. That is a 22.
Okay. So, Earthen, as you prepare to do the final sprint through the gauntlet, you feel something hanging around your neck. And you have no idea where it came from. You look down, and you immediately get 12 hit points back. I'm not even going to tell him he's on mute.
You're muted.
He's muted.
Sorry, my kids came and asked me a question. I kind of look over at Spot and like wink, like, oh, okay. I'm still chanting, like trying to mimic their chant, like that what they were calling out. I'm gonna do that the whole time I run, so.
Okay. So you got the 12 hit points for the pendant because that was just a boss idea. Good job, Spot. I love that. Because it kind of goes with the flavor of your character. You just kind of show up and then no one even sees you do it because of all the distractions. And you just like your full monk ability just kicks in as Earthen is now wearing the pendant.
And I got 15 for myself as well.
Okay. So dex save with advantage because their eyes are closed.
Whew. That's a 26 or 27 on the first one.
Take half of 18 points of bludgeoning damage. Now for the remaining run of the gauntlet.
Nat 20 on that one. Says 28.
Hey.
Nice. We'll say you make it out the other end without any injury or harm. You stand there, you watch as all the Voik just start rapidly coughing and stomping their feet. They throw the cudgels on the ground, and you watch as they all swarm Earthen. They pick him up, and they carry him away and out of your eyesight, cheering and like clashing their weapons. And before long, the crowd disappears to the other end of the longhouse.
I'll flick the necklace off back in their direction.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm just flicking it off. Like,
right.
I'm doing this because they're throwing me, right?
Give me a D20 with your Dex modifier.
D20 with Dex? Okay.
Yep.
That is a 18 plus 8, 26.
26. Spot, there's a clanking noise as the pendant is now at your feet.
All right. I'm gonna kind of just slip my my tail through it and just bring it up. Kind of mime like it fell out of my sleeve, just to try to not draw attention.
Love it.
Should we get the vibe we should be scrambling after them?
No, you get the vibe.
Oh,
that this
no?
is like part of the ritual.
Oh, okay.
And that something else maybe is going to happen to allow them to accept Earthen as a Voik. But you lose sight of him. You lose track of him. The music begins to taper off and kind of calm down. And the priestess steps away over by the gable keeper. The gable keeper faces your direction, Xanath, almost as if she could hear your breathing. Faith keeper, come. Stand in the center of the long chamber.
I'll step forward to that place.
Remove your gauntlets from your hands.
I'll remove them.
The Voik view pain and faith as one and the same. The more pain you can handle, the higher your faith keeps you. Our gods watch our lives and they guide us in death. Our battle master, goddess, teaches us that war and battle is what we're made for. Now, she moves her hand towards a small group of Voik who come out of the background, and they set down huge stacks of stones. Strength is what keeps the Voik the way they are. Strength in heart, strength in mind, strength in body, and strength when we enter the death of the threshold of the moon. This is what it means to be Voik. And there's like a chortle of coughs from the Voik, all setting down the stones and standing nearby. And they kind of bark at the same time, their boots stomping the ground. The musicians switch to their musical instruments that allow them to kind of give off a more like vibrating tone, and the musicality kind of changes a bit. And this vibration kind of emanating from the background, they half encircle the other side of the stones. The one stack is not too tall, and there's a variation of 5 stacks of stones. Standing behind each of the stacks of stones is a Voik holding a cudgel. The gable keeper steps up to you. Lift the stones. one stack at a time. Hold your faith and your strength. If you waver, the cudgel is meant for you. The Gablekeeper steps away. The priestess nods towards you and stares you towards the first stack of stones.
I will go ahead and try to lift the first stack of stones.
Go ahead and give me a strength check, if you would, please.
It's a 6.
6. You put your fingers under the slide of the stone and you begin to try to lift. And you struggle. You feel a cudgel rack against your shoulder for 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh no.
She's pretty beefy, though. Look, everybody's beefy compared to me, okay?
That's fair.
I mean, Puck, you are beefy compared to me.
Me?
Yeah.
Hard to be swooned.
Okay, Xanath, you got this. Are we allowed to cheer, or is that frowned upon?
From what you can tell, the cheering seems to happen before they start or if they succeed. And it seems to be vocalization.
Okay, we'll just hope for her.
Now the strength check. Actually, I keep forgetting. You do athletics if you want to.
Oh,
It's
it's
any
+1 either way.
Gotcha. Go for it.
It's a 5 again, so it's 6 again.
6. As you struggle with this first stack, 2 cudgel blows. As you take 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. I'll try and lift the third stack.
Well, no, you're still on the first one.
Oh, I'm still trying to lift the first
I'm
stack.
trying to lift the first one, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna die because I need a +1 to my strength. All right, I'll try and lift it third time. That's a 13.
13. And you lift that first stack and you hold it. The Voik across from you with the cudgel. You hold your breath, you breathe, and you set it down. And the Voik holding the cudgel coughs and steps away as the second Voik beckons you over to the second stack of stones that are a little bit taller. Now, keep in mind, this is your trial. You're free to try to use anything you want that might aid you in this trial. While you were stopped from aiding Earthen, no one's really privy to stop you from what you decide to do to continue in your trial.
Okay. In that case, I will. I'll cast Enhance Ability on myself, which will give me advantage on strength checks, and my carrying capacity will double.
In your mind, you hear an echoed voice when you cast. You hear this, yes. Show them our strength. As you hear Helm's voice in your mind.
Okay.
Jam your bloodied fingers underneath the second stack of stones, and you begin to try to lift.
Okay. That's a 19.
19. You strain and lift as the second Voik sees, and with an approving cough, and you hold it there for a few seconds, and that Voik steps away. The third one beckons you over to the third stack.
Okay. That's a 8.
8. You feel an emptiness in your mind You struggle with the third stack, and a cudgel slams into the side of your head, knocking you, stunning you back a bit as you take 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Oops. Okay. That's a nat 20 for a 21.
Nice. As you jam your fingers under the third stack again and you begin to lift, you show no signs of strain, show no signs of pain. You just hear a voice in your mind, and the word champion echoes. Helm's voice reassuring, soothing, bolstering your strength. You lift it with such ease that you can hear a murmur from the crowd as they are stunned at this result, and you set it down without strain. The Voik don't cough. They look at you with astonishment. The fourth Voik beckons you over, but not in a way that's disrespectful, in a way that's showing signs of respect. And you stand at the fourth, and the fourth is as tall as you is. As you are, you is. As tall as you are, brain fart. It deflates from time to time. You got to give it credit.
But it flowed well, man. It flowed well.
Okay. That's an 18.
18. You begin to strain and lift. It comes off the ground about an inch, and then you it lands back on the ground. The murmur ripples through the crowd as yet another cudgel up the side of your head for 20 points of bludgeoning damage. And you hear that voice in your mind. The bracelet on your wrist begins to warm with a sense of energy. You are me, and I am you. You've slain dragons. You've seen krakens. You've seen things that would melt the minds of every person in this room. You are my champion. Lift with the heart of a champion. The first revelation of your bracelet kicks in. Once per day, you can gain advantage on any dice roll, and any dice roll that you make will incur a +10.
Ooh, dang. That's awesome.
As Helm's, you now have Revelation 1 of the bracelet, which is Helm's Faith.
Okay. So I will I'm gonna, since I already have advantage, I will drop I'll drop enhance ability and I'll use bless instead, which will get me an additional D4.
Nice.
Or I'll use guidance, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, so that is 20, that's 32. 33.
33. As you
Shouldn't use
feel,
that last one.
yeah, you feel bones bend, but you do it again. You pick everything up as if it's no effort. You don't show any signs of strain, but you could feel the pain on your joints, your bones, your muscles, your tendons. This stack of stone as tall as you must weigh 200 pounds, and that strain is all kept within. And as you set it down, a slight nosebleed coming out of your nose as you take 12 points of psychic damage. The whole crowd coughs, all the Voik. The chief is now standing and staring the final stack of stones that stand 7 feet tall. Big, roughly hewn granite blocks stacked neatly on top of each other. Begin to place your fingers, the Voik guiding you over to the stack, and you dig deep.
And the advantage in the D10 were just for one roll, right?
Just for one roll, yeah. So you could cast Enhance Ability again to at least get the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a question of whether it's better to have advantage or to have an additional D4.
Well, advantage does increase probability by 50%.
Yeah. But if I have to get something higher than a 20, like I have to get a nat 20 to get a 21. I'll try rolling with guidance, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's an 8.
An 8. You struggle. You feel your fingers buckle under the weight, and you can't quite even get it close to off the ground. You feel the cudgel slam into your shoulder as you take 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. All right, I will roll again. That is a 25.
Nice. A DC was a 25.
Oh.
Your fingers get underneath the stack, but you strain this time because you met the DC. So as you lift, strain, your nose is bleeding. Blood is coming off your fingertips from digging into the granite, and you lift the full stack to height, and you stand there breathing, holding your breath, just determined not to struggle anymore. And you set it down. The entire crowd goes wild. Everyone just cheers. The musicians start back up again. The priestess coming over and like grabs you and like just looks at you with this sense of like relief, and then realizes she grabbed you and kind of steps away at the same time. The other Voik just slamming you on the shoulder and on the back, and kind of like just you're bouncing like a pinball off all the congratulations before you kind of stumble away like over by where everybody else is standing, and just kind of Daneth is currently back with the two of you, cheering, the raucous behavior. The priestess.
That was really unpleasant.
Oh my god, what the heck?
The priestess kind of quiets everybody. As she does, the drums start beating. Puck, find your way to me, please. The gable keeper stands in the middle of a now circular group of Voik.
Can I try to do detect thoughts, the cantrip, on her to get an indication of what's awaiting me?
She is impossible to read. No sense of emotion, only a staunch feeling of fealty to the chief and a sense of hope at the same time.
Huh. Well, okay. Puck walks down, tries to look unaffected.
The drums beat. The Voik in a circle. You could see Spot and an exhausted Xaneth. Every now and then you could hear a cheer coming from the very back end of the longhouse as Earthen is now singing drunkenly. He is so plastered.
Really?
So hammered
Wow.
in celebration.
So fast.
Down at the other hand. It's just his large, out-of-tune voice, but with a kind of bellicose rhyme to it. You know, you get the feeling he's out of tune only because he's drunk. Otherwise, he's just singing one of those kind of very vivacious kind of songs. that he would sing in obviously important occasions.
And yeah, that means I'm really, really, really drunk.
Well, must be nice.
It's that whole like it's one of those things like Earthen would hate knowing that he's off pitch. Like it would drive him crazy, but he is so drunk it doesn't matter.
That sounds really like a releasing and empowering experience for you. I'm so happy you are having this.
It took a lot of pain to get there.
Fair, that
You
was
watch
absolutely horrifying.
as 3 Voik stand in front of you, about 20 feet away. They are carrying reed-like baskets, large wicker baskets. The first basket has the image of a snake hanging off of it. The second basket has an image of a wolf. And then the third basket has an image of something that you've never seen before. It is a multi-eyed creature with a hyperextension of anthropomorphic style legs and kind of like this strange kind of rock pharaoh-like body. The first Voik steps up in front of you, sets down the basket, takes off the lid, and then steps back. The gable keeper goes over to the basket and leans in and pulls out a rock viper. This is a snake you're familiar with, Puck. This is deadly. This could kill. The poison in a rock viper is known to be some of the most deadly poison on the face of Exandria. It's even been said that rock vipers are, for the most part, extinct due to them being hunted down for their poison for use in alchemical and other kind of ways of using their poison. The gable keeper holds up the snake. Ah, scouts of the Voik, our eyes, our hearts, and our legs. The Voik, we flourish in the heart of the natural wonders of our lands. A true tamer of the beast will keep the Voik safe. And she sets the snake down about 10 feet in front of you. Chieftain leans forward. Tame the rock viper. Show us the proof of your eyes.
Okay. Puck tries to use the ability of
To use the ability, don't fucking die.
oh, do I have that ability? When did I gain that?
I roll for DFD.
No, no, I have
Can't you like freely talk with animals?
yeah,
Because of
that's the one.
your warlockness?
I wouldn't say. Yeah, no, that's the one I was looking for. Sorry.
What are you looking for?
Sorry, I just had my abilities stacked out in front of me and then I lost it. Just gonna be 1 second.
I know these delay tactics. They're well known to me.
Do they work in world as well?
Yeah, I was double checking to make sure I had the content turned on, and it is. So should be there.
Nice. Okay, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I found it. So, beast speech. So you can cast speak with any animal at will without expanding a spell slot.
Okay. You are 10 feet away from this viper that's a good 15 feet long. It coils up and its head flares out with scale and skin. Long teeth dripping with like a green-yellow venom. And it just kind of coils and sits there in front of you.
Hi, friend. What do you want?
Eat. Then
I take.
you.
Oh, fun. I take a gerbil out of my bag. Have you tried one of those?
Give me persuasion or intimidation, your choice. Actually, no, because this is a test of your skill as a hunter. You're good at nature, right?
Yes.
Give me a nature check. Feels more in line with what you're trying to do.
17.
17. The rock viper gets over to your feet and begins to kind of coil around your feet, up your leg, around your midriff, sits. You can feel the blistering burn of the acid on your skin as it drips onto you as you take 6 points of acid damage. It looks at the gerbil that you're holding by its scruff and looks at you. Hungry. Which to choose? Which to choose? It's like tongue flicking out. How's your sleight of hand?
It's pretty good.
Give me a sleight of hand as you attempt
Actually,
to feed it.
It's just okay. Never mind. It is a
How's
6.
your animal handling? Maybe it's more of an animal handling.
Thank
Animal
you.
handling should be pretty good, right?
It's a lot better.
All right,
that's
use
27.
it. Nice.
Woohoo!
As you gently place it in the mouth of the viper, the rock viper just closes it. More of the venom dripping onto your hand as you take another 5 points of acid damage from the venom. It slithers out from around you, uncoiling from your feet, and then slithers over to the basket and goes inside. One of the boys coughs with a salute, comes over, places the lid on the basket, carries it away. The whole crowd ripples with salutes of coughs as they kind of honor what you just did. Second lid is taken off, and you hear this. It's a pretty sizable basket. They tip it over in your direction as this feral warg comes toppling out of it. 6 feet long, 4 feet tall, bristling with a kind of mange. One eye blind, the other eye mad with distemper and anger. A sense of rabid, kind of like foam coming off of its mouth. The wolf crawls towards you like it's getting ready to pounce. Looks at you like you are a perfect snack. It looks starving. It's about to leap at you.
I'm going. Oh, are we allowed to cast spells, or are we expected not to?
It's your trial. So as you're not helping someone else, you've already seen Earth and Xanath kind of do their thing. And you get the feeling that it's probably partially up to you and probably not seeing. Like, you get the feeling that they would expect you to do what you need to do to make it through the trial.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion and put a much more appealing prey in front of me.
You bring up an illusion and you watch as the mad dog just walks through it, leaps up towards you, and you feel claw and fang slash across you for 31 points of slashing damage.
Oof.
It lands behind you. More foam mixed with blood on the ground. The boy begin to cough. Now it prowls around you, circling you.
Okay, I've had enough of this bullshit. I'm casting Freedom of Waves.
You watch as the waves echo out and into the creature, throwing it up in the air, slamming it to the ground. The water dissipates in different directions allowing the water to kind of wash over you. All the Voik step back and cough. The warg picks itself up off the ground, shakes its head, begins to cautiously circle you again, but its head lower, its eye narrowed, its bruised body being a little bit more trepidatious. But it has your scent now. It has your blood in its mouth.
I summon Lunch.
Lunch comes out of your pocket coin, and your pseudo dragon in its full form, just hovering there. The chieftain gets to his feet. All the Voik just gasp in awe. And everything slows down, like to the point to where you could barely hear anything. And you watch as the chief kind of comes down off the platform, walks, this huge shadow behind you. And as soon as the shadow appears behind you, the warg cowers from its shadow, backpedals back towards and away from you. The massive chief looks at the great dragon above you. The chief grabs onto your shoulder. You tame dragons?
Yes.
He looks up. My people kill these creatures on sight. These creatures cannot be tamed, but yet I see this one. Show me how it answers your bidding, answers your calling. He steps away.
Hey, I kind of single to Lunch to allow me to fly with him high enough that the...
Yeah, like Lunch is there and he's looking around, looks at you, and he kind of, in his own voice to you that they don't understand, he looks at the wolf who's cowering away. Got a better idea if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Swoops down, picks up the warg in one bite, bites it in half.
Where was
he?
he?
Down.
What?
And then Lunch just flies around the room, goes into his small form, and lands on your shoulder. You immediately watch as all the Voik just gasp out. The party that Earthen was leading, because Earthen is now passed out cold, drunk beyond belief, beyond everything, which is the reward he was given. And the rest of the Voik come away drunk, staggering, to see this small Puck with this small dragon. The chief walks down off the platform, comes over to Puck, looks at the creature, looks at her. Her trial is past. I name you Dragon Cleaver. That is what the Voik will know you as. That's the name you will take amongst my people. Show them your ways. Teach them the hunt. Show them how to tame the dragon. And the reward will be unending for you, Buck. Unending.
Puck tries really hard to look cool and just kind of shrugs and is, I will show you.
Like, you immediately want to go vomit, but you hold it down and you're like, tension display. You still don't know what was in that third basket, but if the first two were any signs, that third one could have been a tough one. Pulling your skill with Lunch and using what they allow to be used was pretty clever choice. The chief looks and his face kind of grows long. there is a form, a tall male form, thin, not big and brutish like the others. Comes out of the crowd wearing nothing but simple linen pants, a leather belt, and a cloak tightly pulled around his heavily scarred and tattooed body. A long braided beard with a metal device at the end of the beard. Hands molded with great iron rings molded into the fingers and digits of his hands, folded in front of him at his waistline. The chieftain nods towards the tall stranger, looks at the other Voik. The other Voik get up off the ground, bow in unison towards the tall stranger, and silently, the tall stranger enters the center of the round room. Chieftain looks over at Spot. You are to be the last challenged, Tabaxi. I offer you my greatest warrior, my shadow warrior of the moon. May he send you on your threshold in honorification of your others. If you live, you and your friends will hold position with us. If you die, while they will gain our faith, they will not completely gain our trust. He flings off the cloak, and there is no mass on this guy. He is pure wire. He is sinew and bone. He stands there almost ghoul-like, but with long, distended fingers wrapped in iron, a beard that ends in like an iron ball at the end of his beard, kind of flailing about. He turns to stare at Spot, and he smiles. Broken teeth, crooked smile, heavily tattooed face, puts out his hand and beckons Spot forward. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, because when we come back next week, it is going to be Spot's trial, which is going to be a little bit more combat heavy, since it's going to be much more of a 1v1 combat. Oh my God. I was very worried about Earthen, because I don't know your hit point pool. I didn't know what to expect.
I was very worried about Earthen.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect with Puck, but when she pulled out the coin drag, I was like, all right, I'll go with it. These guys, if you can prove that you can tame a dragon, that's going to take you a long way. So that was fucking cool, man. That was cool.
Earthen has a
scared.
-1 to Constitution, so I'm 17 hit points less than whatever I rolled.
Yeah.
So
That was
squishy.
awesome.
Squishy is very squishy. If I hadn't got that singing song in, that would have been really bad.
Yeah. I love the idea with the pendant Spot. That really used your core skills.
Yep.
To make a help action very uniquely. That was really cool. I like that. That was really, really cool. It was right in line with your character, especially since you and Earthen don't always get along. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's why I made sure to give it back before I left.
All right, everyone. Thanks for coming out. You guys hang out. We'll talk about the schedule. Be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game, everybody. See you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. One of these days, I will have it prepared. I swear, I will have it prepared.